Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lex, and I would greatly appreciate it if you want to support me, if you want to support that content, if you would consider liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. It really helps to get the videos out there, and it inspires me to keep creating. In addition to that, I have a vlog channel or just a personal channel I'll put here, and there will also be a link in the description box. Today, we are going to talk about the Ultimatum episode 6, just episode 6 in this video. And we are going to title this Scotty Shows His True Colors because, girl, I feel like, sometimes people be like, you don't come down hard enough on this person. You don't see how much of a red flag this person is. And, I don't like to say I'm great at reading people, but I think I'm pretty good at reading people because Scotty, we got a lot of Scotty these next couple of episodes. So let's begin. It is the last week of the trial marriage. Everyone is kind of reconvening after the girls and guys nights. We see them all get back to their apartments, ask how the other one is doing. Scotty is in a horrible mood. Scotty literally storms into his apartment, basically goes into the room, and Zayna's like looking at the camera like, what?
Not. And I'm just like, bro, I don't know who you are. Like, I would never say that you're trying to get a hall pass or you're here for the wrong reasons.
So she goes in and she's like, so would you like to talk? Like, are you okay? She's like, do you need some space? He ignores her, for the record. Like, he completely doesn't say anything at first. He just looks at her like she's crazy. Eventually, he's like, have you talked negatively or talked ish about JR or have I, ever talked negatively or talked ish about JR to you? Doesn't give an explanation, doesn't explain what he's talking about, just bombards her with a question. He's like, this is a yes or no question. There's no gray area. Don't try to find an answer that makes sense. This is a yes or no question. He's trying to immediately manipulate her into giving a very specific answer that he wants, which is no. His tone, extremely harsh, extremely demanding. And remember, he just fully bombards her with this, not even explaining what he is talking about. I really want us to keep that in mind. So he's like, look, JR went off about me saying that I said that he was here for a hall pass or something. And she's like, so you think it's me that said that? Where did you get this energy from? You think it's me that told him that? He's like, look, I am really upset that my character was misrepresented. Anybody would feel that way. I don't care how many weights you lift. I don't care how big you are. When someone misrepresents my character, I'm going to feel some type of way. Again, coming with all this vitriol, all this anger, and very little explanation as for what is going on. And again, Zaina is extremely confused. She's like, so are you intimidated? What is the problem here? Because again, she does not know even what this situation is in regards to. Alleged, right? And he's like, no. Why would I be intimidated? Getting so angry. I mean, this man is fuming. And instead of sitting down and having a conversation with Zaina and being like, hey, this happened, he's immediately going to blame. He's not accepting any answer other than the answer that he wants to hear, which is, yes, I told him that, and no, it wasn't you. And all he's talked about this whole time is his character being misrepresented, this, that, and the next thing. She's like, okay, so why are you bringing this energy then? If you're not intimidated, what is going on? He's like, whoa, why are you raising your voice? Mind you, Zaina's not raising her voice, and this entire time, this man has been dominating, angry, irritated, and having the nerve to ask her why she's raising her voice. So she's like, why are you asking these leading questions? You're clearly trying to get an answer. Exactly. This whole conversation, I'm like, you are asking questions in a very specific way because, again, you want to be able to manipulate the situation and say, oh, yes, see, I told y'all. But, get it together. So after a while, they continue to go back and forth, and I'm gonna be real with you guys. I don't even really know how they went from anger to resolution. I kind of missed that part in the fight, but eventually they do hug, and he thanks her for being so resolution based. And my biggest thing for Zaina, and I get it, I get the whiplash of somebody coming at you out of nowhere. But my question for Zaina is like, why don't you have any more questions? I feel like when it comes to JR and Zaina, they have no questions about the other one because Sandy also came in and was talking about, what happened at the girls' night, and JR had no questions. So these two, I've seen some theories online that they're not a real couple. I told you though, some of them kind of have some validity because Zaina and JR definitely seem to have almost no questions for each other. Scotty, I am now convinced that my theory is correct about Scotty, about it being his way or the highway. Scotty seems very much like, if you don't do things my exact way, I'm going to manipulate you. I'm going to make you feel bad. I'm going to say you're rejecting me. This is why he's always the victim when it comes to him and Arya. He's always the victim. Oh, I just want someone to love me. I just want someone to see me for who I am. No one hears me. Victim complex, victim complex, victim complex. Always the victim. Because in this conversation, it's like you are approaching someone with anger and you're not even giving them a chance to speak. You're not even explaining what it is. That is manipulative in and of itself. To ask somebody a question, force them to answer the question and not give them any further context as to what you're talking about. And in this whole conversation, he's angry. He's defending himself. He's raising his voice. Then he has the nerve to say that Zaina is the one raising her voice. Yeah, like I said, the theories were correct. Let's keep going. But Nick and Mariah, they meet up, and he says that he feels like all of his fears have been confirmed. He says JR is all about Sandy. It's really threatening. Now, Mariah tells him that Sandy wants him to be more emotionally in check. And he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I have had this behavior before where I felt like I was gonna lose her, that basically I crashed out, I freaked out, just like we saw him do on screen. This is apparently a pattern for him. And he says overall that he doesn't trust JR. He's had all these fears about what was happening, that they were being intimate and sleeping together. Now, obviously Sandy and JR are playing in all of our faces, and clearly those two have very real feelings for each other. They have definitely forgotten it's an experiment. I cannot let go of the fact though that Nick gives me very eerie vibes. Like anybody else, Nick definitely gives me vibes that he gets very angry. It is very clear that Nick explodes quite quickly, and I'm not saying that like it's not without reason or that every time he's upset it's wrong. I get it. This is a crazy experiment. But again, I think Nick's ego is more bruised than anything in this experiment because he brought Sandy here and didn't expect that Sandy would make a connection with someone like JR. And I'm going to be honest, the way that Nick talks about it being JR, it's JR, I think there's a little something in there. Y'all could extrapolate what you think I mean. It just feels like there's a little something in there with Nick, though, when he says it. So for me, Nick is not giving me victim. I actually don't really feel bad for him because he seems manipulative on his own right. That's the vibe I at least get off of him. So Sandy and JR, they talk, and he tells her about talking to Zaina and telling her that he loves her. So, she tells him a little bit about the conversation he had. JR has no reaction. Like, he actually says nothing. He just brushes over it, and he's like, well, Nick apologized, and by the way, he also said that, like, you were reaching out to him, saying, I miss you, and all of these different things, so how true is that? She's like, well, yeah, of course there are moments where, like, I miss him, he expresses it every single day and texts me every single day. And like, yeah, there are times where I've texted him back and responded. She's like, look, one day he's chill. The next day, it says he's going to change and all of these different things. And the next day it's another thing. So let's see where it's at in a few days. So Sandy does start to break down and she says, look, like Nick will own up to things. He'll do all of this. He'll apologize. And then the same behavior happens. And again, Nick also alluded to this behavior that he has, like the almost like love bombing, the obsessiveness, the freaking out, the crashing out. He said himself that this is a pattern with him, and he's done this with previous exes. So again, yes, Sandy and JR have their own set of issues and things, but let's not pretend that Nick doesn't have his own set too, where it's like there are definitely things about Nick where it's like, that gives me some pause. So she says at this point she doesn't even want to move back in with Nick. So Caleb and Arya, they meet up with Arya's brother and his wife.
Not just like super sad after just like sharing something.
It's not like a moment to, like, I don't do that to like, oh shit, this is getting serious.
Yeah,
but I'm
step
like,
out, drop a joke.
no, we take that moment and then we can ease into the joke.
And they talk about how the trial marriage has been smooth so far. They discuss how they have similar interests. She still feels like she could be vulnerable. She's not judged. Again, all of these different things that Arya says that Caleb has, just an overall space for her to be herself and express herself. So her brother asked, like, look, do you have any clarity from this on if Scotty is your person? She says she wants it to be, but sometimes she doesn't know if he can get there. Sometimes he'll get upset by her, and because of that, he won't give her what she wants. Very interesting. Withholding love, affection, different things. Very big manipulation tactic in relationships. And for her to say, if he gets upset, he then withholds whatever it is that he's withholding. Very toxic. Very big red flag. So she also feels that Scotty really never takes accountability. Yes, as we saw in the argument with Zaina, as we saw in all this whole thing, Scotty is very much like, admit it. And then he goes into victim mode. He's very aggressive on the outset and then goes into victim mode to kind of manipulate you back in. So overall, they start to talk about how Scotty and their father, Arya and her brother, their father and Scotty have very, very similar traits. And I guess they don't really have a good relationship with their father, or maybe at least, they acknowledge that he's like Scotty. And Arya's brother's even like, yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really like Scotty at first. Like, I wasn't really a fan. But overall, she then sings Caleb's praises yet again and says she feels like Caleb doesn't judge her. They laugh about everything, and he has the qualities that she wants in a husband. Baby, those two. Now, Zaina and Scotty.
This trial marriage experience, that is necessary. Like, you have to realize that even if you're not on the same page, you're working to get there. And I think that's the hard part about arguments is two people might.
She asks if she wants, let me try again. Zaina asks Scotty if he wants anything else out of the trial marriage, because I guess this is about like the last day, basically. And he says, regardless of how you feel, I got a lot out of this marriage, regardless of how you feel. And she's like, why do you have to project that? Like, why do you have to say it like that, though? He says that the trial marriage has shown him that arguing doesn't have to be about being right, but being on the same page. And I'm like, Scotty, when have we ever seen you try to get on the same page? Ever. Like, you don't do that. So you say you notice that, but you don't do that. We have not seen you exhibit that behavior. So, okay. So JR and Sandy, he asks if she is sick of him. She says she's sick of his attitude.
Wait to be done and over with talking about him.
I have felt like the whole time like I've owed it to you just to like try and put that shit aside and show up and be present with you. And like,
You have been, I tell you that.
Oop, and they're going for a walk right now. So she says that, like, I've been trying to get clarification on everything that's going on with Nick for the past few days. Like, I just want to know what happened. A lot of things happened at the guys' night and whatnot. He says, like, JR is irritated, okay? He's like, it feels like it's been the Nick show for the past 3 weeks. Like, clearly he's going to try to get to you by talking to your friends, stealing the spotlight. And again, if it wasn't coming from JR, I would say that there's a point there. You see what I mean? Because yes, Nick does very much give me, if you don't give me what I want, I'm going to freak out and I'm going to make it about me. We've seen this. We've seen him. The fact that he blows up her phone every day, all day, that is toxic behavior. So again, If it wasn't coming from JR and it wasn't in relation to this, I could see the point there. Now, the fact that JR is visibly upset that Sandy is actually upset about her true partner is a problem, okay? Sir, as I've said before, this is not your girlfriend. This is not your girl. And the fact that he is visibly upset that she cares about her man, problem, red flag. So she says, look, like, I am not out to get you, JR. Like, I am not against you, okay? Like, again, JR feels threatened, like he's about to lose his girlfriend. It's actually crazy. It's actually crazy. But he does apologize for how he's been acting. And I just thought this was so interesting. I do think Nick has these traits. And again, Nick himself has continuously alluded on the show to, I know I do this. I know I do this stuff. I know I, you know, and combined with the fact that Sandy will say, he hasn't even given me the time of day a lot of times, but then here he wants to love bomb me. Okay. So Arya and Caleb, they surprise each other with a card and a book, and that's really all. Again, these two seems great. They have a good connection, and yet Caleb don't want to admit that. Anyway, Nick goes to get a tattoo. He gets a tattoo, he says, because it's been a super interesting few weeks. He's scared that when Sandy gets back, she will be different. Now, he does feel if you can jump into something that fast, that's a red flag. And again, agreed. But at the same time, it's like, then Nick, on your end too, there are reasons that your partner is clearly not happy. So for both of them, they need to not be together. That's my whole thing. Sandy is clearly not happy, clearly doesn't feel love. And Nick clearly has some very toxic traits and then kind of like spirals to manipulate her back in. And I would not be surprised that this is a cycle with the two of them. So Nick gets the tattoo, and after he's done, he's like, oh my God.
Don't even.
I sent you.
And the artist is like, what? And he's like, I sent you the picture of the wrong tattoo. I meant to send you love conquers all, not fortune favors the bold. Keep that in mind for later. Keep that in mind for later. Zayna and Scotty. Which, by the way, let's jump back for 1 second. How do you send someone the wrong tattoo? How do you send somebody? This is what I mean about people getting tattoos in a language that they don't speak. Because it was, what was that, Latin or something? You don't speak that language. That's like people that get those Arabic tattoos and then it ends up saying something stupid like broom or something. But you get it because it looks cool. Stop getting tattoos in languages you don't understand. Like, I don't know. Anyway, Zayna and Scotty.
And second of all, I actually don't take my phone to the bathroom.
Super defensive. For what?
Because you're over
what?
here with like speculations about what?
You're escalating.
What is the intention behind?
Talk to JR.
Do you not understand like how dumb that sounds? What does that
You're
matter
free.
to you besides your obsession with JR?
was
You've
asking you
asked me
questions.
if I've spoken to him.
You're not making any sense.
Should I get JR on the line?
That's unnecessary drama. Like, I feel
Zayna's like, oh, I ran into Arya at the gym and I told her about what happened after the guys' night, you know, how you kind of blame me for JR having that impression. She's like, look, like Zayna's also had conversations with JR as well. So it's not just me. Or Arya's also had conversations with JR as well. So it's not just me that's, could have been the culprit. He's like, okay. Well, clearly you've been acting off. I don't know anybody that wakes up at 9:30 and brings their phone to the bathroom. She's like, why are you clocking what I'm doing? And it's like, he's like, okay. Clearly that means you're talking to JR though. Clearly. Because she goes to the bathroom at 9:30 with her phone. Doesn't everybody bring their phone in the bathroom at some point? Like, I don't... Again, Scotty wants to so badly push a narrative because he feels some type of way about something he got going on. And he's putting it on Arya. Oh, no, Zaina, sorry. So she's like, well, clearly all of this only matters because you're obsessed with JR. He's like, well, you clearly use your phone and text a lot. Like I said, red flag. I have been in a relationship where I would use my phone at a standard level. Honestly, he would low-key probably use his phone more than me. But because he had a very big problem with me talking to other people, having other friends, you know, whatever the case was, it was such a big problem. Every time I'd be on the phone, you're texting someone, oh yeah, you're on the phone. You were like on the phone this morning. It's like, yeah, I'm using my phone and talking to other people in my life like every normal person does. That's what Scotty's doing. He's trying to make her normal behavior seem like a problem. Because he's threatened. He is threatened. Anyway, he's like, you couldn't come up with a better deflection than being obsessed with JR. You couldn't think of something better than that. Ay. So she's like, okay, like, I have not told JR anything. I don't even, he cuts her off and he's like, gaslighting won't work on me. I know this man didn't just say that she tried to gaslight him. When this whole entire episode, all we have seen is him gaslight her. When episodes before, even the episode where he's like, you're rejecting me because she didn't want to do cryotherapy and go in a hot air balloon, two outlandish suggestions that a lot of people wouldn't want to do. And then he tried to frame it like she rejects him all the time. Yeah, run. Arya, girl, run. I know it's been like a year or plus since this was filmed. Run. If any of y'all have a Scotty in your life, run. Because this is not it. She's like, all right, I'm not going to keep fighting with you, so I'm going to go somewhere else for the night. Because you're just clearly stuck on painting your picture of the truth. He's like, gaslighting won't work on me. Gaslighting won't work on me. Like, he's literally saying it on loop like a little child. Ew, embarrassing. This is disgusting. Like, this. Ooh, girl, I hope Arya's not with this man. And don't spoil it for me if you know. But, ooh, I hope she's not with this man still. Because this is a lot. This is a lot. So as she's going out, she's like, look, do you want me to get JR on the line? Because this is too much. Like, do you want me to get him on the line? He's like, that is so unnecessary and childish. No, you know what's unnecessary and childish? You. And by the way that Scotty's reacting, I know he actually said that shit. I know he actually said that ish. Because the way he's responding lets me know he is guilty as charged. Because you don't reply like that if you're not guilty. You don't get this triggered if you're not guilty. Yep, he said it. He showed it. He showed it. Okay. So Caleb and Arya, they, you know, they have another little cute conversation. They just tell each other how thoughtful they are. You know, he's like, look, you can make anyone feel special.
It's really taught me a lot about myself. There's just so much to you. You can make anyone feel special. And it comes so natural and with such ease, and I think it's really a beautiful.
He is again telling her like how she's great, how she's amazing. But Caleb want to play in our face and pretend he don't got feelings for this girl. And I'm not saying Caleb, I think, is like in love with her or anything, but like, come on, Caleb. So JR and Sandy, they get into bed and he's like, all right, babe, sexy ass.
Okay, babe. See different. Sexy ass. So it's like our last night together.
Like, I don't know, because she got on like one of those little night slip things. It's like, hi, babe, sexy ass. He says it was very easy to talk to her throughout this experiment, and it was very enjoyable. You know, she would make a great wife because she loves to travel. She loves to have fun. She's challenging him to do things that he has never done before. And, you know, overall, yeah, you know, she says she has to show up in ways that she ordinarily doesn't. She's the one that says that she is challenged by JR. Remember, Sandy keeps saying JR has challenged her in ways she hasn't before. And I don't know what that means. I'm going to be completely honest, through watching this entire experiment, I still don't really know what that means. Now, he said he came in not being ready for marriage, but now he could see himself being married to someone like Sandy. Overall, he is happy to have her, and she says she is here for him no matter what. They kiss and kiss and kiss and kiss, and he tells her how she means so much to him, and they kiss again. And we end this episode off with them starting the changeover. Boom. So, last week of the trial marriage, I think that we got a lot of clarity on a lot of people's personalities. I feel like a lot of these men are very easily triggered. JR, Scotty, Nick, all of y'all are so easily triggered. It's crazy. Anywho, if you made it to this point of the video, that means you liked the video. So I would greatly appreciate it if you would support the channel by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Helps to get the videos out there and inspires me to keep creating. Please only talk about episode 6 in this video. We will have the episode 7 video up by tomorrow. Thank you, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.